Namaste, Jai Bharat. Crows don't sing like cuckoos. No matter how desperately a crow tries to sing like cuckoo, it never happens. It can't. It won't because it can't. Similar is the situation with Pakistan. You can't trust them. This is the experience of Bharat. I'm not talking about others. The experience of Bharat. They say something and there won't be any accountability. They speak so many things, but nothing really works in praxis. So, all these years of after independence of our nation and separation of them from us, we had been taken for rights, but with such promises, false promises. Now, if you analyze this promise, it's really not the fault of individuals per se. The problem is that their nation is a semblance of mistake, which of course Muhammad Ali Jinnah must have understood through his expressions even before separation. Many instances that where I may speak about him, but though it may be little lengthy video, nonetheless, maybe sometime later. It's a semblance of mistake, but if you look at the structure of Pakistan, who is accountable in Pakistan for us? The army, they're not a game player in international politics. The army is not a game player in international politics. They have nothing to do with international politics and policies. They, even if there is military dictatorship, even if when there is a military rule, there is somebody, one person accountable, the dictator per se. But otherwise, in a setup like Pakistan, you look at the structure of Pakistan. There is kind of election. There is elected representatives of people. There is a prime minister. There is a president. There is a judiciary in place. But then, who is accountable? There are three fundamental agencies which runs this show in Pakistan. Whether they really run or not is for you to find out. The government, the democratically elected government, politicians, the army, judiciary doesn't have much role, it appears, and of course the mullahs, the Maulvis. And these three, if you look at them as three distinct, you will see them as three distinctly operative structures in one society, and they don't really coexist. They have their own interests, which oftentimes overlap or contradict or conflict. Therefore, the kinds of promises which the politicians come and make, the army doesn't take responsibility of accepting it, and the mullahs have nothing to do with anyone except their God or their kinds of faith system. So this is why we are compelled rather not to trust our neighbor Pakistan. This is the situation with Bharat and Pakistan. Now, of late, there was a kind of ceasefire in Hamas with Israel at the instance of the US, and the ceasefire is supposed to be in three stages, which I'm really afraid that it doesn't go phase one, because the kind of activities you see in after the first phase of ceasefire, you find the Hamasians again coming with their former kinds of arrogance and sitting in vehicles with the rifles, the machine guns, small machine guns, and moving about the streets. Look at them. They had taken this much of smothering, and the moment given an opportunity, they are back to square one. Now, how can you make these people accountable? One thing it appears that why people go for terrorism is not just the promises that are made for them after death in heaven, but because of their innate instinct towards anarchy. As a terrorist, you can do anything. As a terrorist, you can do anything. You are accountable not to anyone. Because you are a terrorist, you are given kind of freedom. Actually, no one gives you freedom. You assume freedom to do anything what you feel like and you want. Perhaps that's one thing that attracts young minds. Very young people must be in the very early teens, going into this, getting attracted to terrorism with no after effect thought. So you look at them. So, what's the point of making a truce or a ceasefire agreement with such a load? The moment they get an opportunity, they can just come out with this kind of things. So that's the situation with Hamas, and I'm very skeptical about the progress of the ceasefire agreement. Personally, if it works out, it's good. But I really doubt whether it shall work out or not. The only thing that can work out is a solution which President Trump made, that clear Gaza, and send all the people to different designated destinations, and then they will take over Gaza. Well, that's the only solution it appears. And this being at one side, recently there is a news that there is a Pakistan occupied Kashmir, which is supposed to be with Bharat, but that's occupied by Pakistan because of the folly of that name, Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. There's no hiding his name, at least now after all these years. There is going to be a meeting of all the terrorist outfits in Pakistan occupied Kashmir under the leadership of Hamas. Well, Hamas has become jobless, and now Hamas also is becoming homeless. So Pakistan, it seems, appears to house Hamas in Pakistan occupied Kashmir, thinking that they will be a headache to Bharat. Of course, indeed, they will be a headache to Bharat. Our soldiers will have work to do. Similar thing they did with the Afghanis. They created the Taliban thinking that they can use Taliban as an instrument to their ends, which of course doesn't work out anymore, which bounces back on them, which doesn't work. Similarly, they all think probably they can make Hamas an instrument and use it against Bharat. In all likelihood, Bharat will no one is in the near vicinity. And maybe they can dream of controlling Pakistan occupied Kashmir. They can't get Pakistan occupied Kashmir, thing of control. So just look at the Hamas, whom Pakistan is inviting, and trying to house them in Pakistan occupied Kashmir. Trying to house them because Hamas is already slowly becoming homeless. They have to shift. They can't continue in the tunnels of erstwhile Gaza. I don't think Gaza is anymore the same. And if US takes over Gaza for positive purposes, then of course these people will be ousted. If they're ousted, of course the only job they know is terrorism, and they can do it well in Kashmir. And of course our soldiers will have more rounds to fire. Nothing more, nothing less. So look at Pakistan. Look at Pakistan. How can we trust Pakistan with this kind of attitude? How can, of course, the world trust Hamas with their innate tendency to fight? To fight anyone, no matter who. At least if there's none in front of them, they'll fight their own images in Emperor. And that's a kind of mental setup, which kind of a sickness, a disease, which transcends or goes beyond the understanding of a common perception of human being. So this is what we see, and of course, to end up, incorrigible Pakistan, irredeemable terrorist thoughts. So we'll meet again with some other thinking. Till then, Namaste, Jai Bharat, Jai Siya Ram.